Hello and welcome to the forecast for July 7 until 13th. This is by far probably one of the most pivotal weeks of the year, most pivotal day of the year, which is beginning on Monday, July 7th, as we have a major move from an outer planet that is Uranus, that is leaving Taurus and now entering into its brand new sign of Gemini. This is an extraordinary deal, and it is going to impact all of us globally as Uranus is an outer planet. It has very global impacts, but also it's going to be impacting you personally in the part of the chart that is Gemini. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. We're going to get right into it. My name is Desiree de Lunae, and I am your acupuncturist, herbalist, and astrologer. Please do like, subscribe, and hit that bell so that you're notified every time a new video is available to you. All right, so let's get going. I'm going to make this a lot bigger for you. Almost there. Here we go. So I just want to first to give you the visual of Monday that is happening, and we are going to just dive straight into it with Uranus and Gemini. So you will see up here that at 0 degrees 0 minutes, I mean, this is literally happening at 10 a.m. Eastern, which is also 7 a.m. Pacific time. And Uranus is entering 0 degrees 0 minutes of Gemini, and it is going to conjoin with the planet of Venus too as it comes in. This is major. So what I want to do is kind of give you the timeline. First things first is we have it entering Monday, July 7th, and it has 7 to 8 years, depending on the years or depending on the sign and time period, but it will be there until May 23rd of 2033. So it's actually quite a long window. This is about an 8-year window, and it will actually dip back into Taurus in November, at the beginning of November, and then in April go back into Gemini because it's going to have a retrograde motion. So we're kind of getting a preview between now and November of what this rest of Uranus Gemini is going to look like. And then April, it's going to transition back into Gemini and stay there all the way until May 23rd, 2033. Now, when Uranus first enters a sign, this is a very, very powerful period for Uranus and Gemini because it's literally the breakthrough. It's cracking through an entire sign. So it's going to, be loud. It's going to be loud and possibly chaotic, frenetic. There's just going to be a lot of action, a lot of activity. So this is kind of like a trailer that we're getting between now and November for what is to come for the next, 7, 8 years that we get to experience with Uranus and Gemini. And look, Uranus has actually been quite constricted in the sign of Taurus, because Taurus is a very grounded, slower earth sign, and Uranus is fast, genius, innovative. I mean, like lightning bolt, electrifying type of energy. And so it is not in its happiest place here in Taurus. It's very frustrated. But when you are looking at Uranus and Gemini, Gemini is an air sign, and it's a very fast moving air sign. Think like tornadoes. It's very quick. There is a natural affinity between Uranus and Gemini. Like they work better together. And so talking about increased pace just in general, increased mental activity and restlessness and innovation and genius thinking, like a lot of breakthroughs coming along. That's what you get to expect here with the Uranus and Gemini moment. All right. So what I wanted to do for you is go and give you some delineations of, what Uranus means. What does Uranus signify? And then also, what does Gemini signify? And by doing so, we can really, start to get a hint, an idea of what we can expect for this next 7, 8 year cycle. Okay. So let's first start with Uranus. Uranus, this planet, has to do with innovation. I mean, it is like a breakthrough, liberating type of energy, and it is bringing something new and very evolutionary to the table here. So it has a genius type of quality to it. It is absolutely a disruptor. It disrupts what has been stable, what has been constant. I mean, I've given this example before, like Uber disrupted the taxi industry, right? It completely revolutionized and changed the way that we do rideshare. I mean, taxis are kind of a dinosaur. It's kind of a thing of the past. Pretty much most all people, I'm pretty sure, are either getting like Uber or Lyft, for example. So it's quite the disruptor. It's a shake-up kind of a planet. It brings tremendous change, like radical change, honestly. It's very liberating. It is very individual too. Like it's very original. It's individual. It is breaking out of the box. And that's the thing. Uranus is known to be eccentric. It's known to be very different and it's its own thing. And it is not about mainstream. It is not about status quo whatsoever. So what can we expect? Breakdowns and breakthroughs. We can expect sudden, unexpected changes. All right. It can be chaotic, frenetic, and cause some upheaval. Absolutely. Do you want to know what your next birthday year holds? Well, your birthday, it's not just another celebration. It's actually a powerful astrological moment. And what's in the sky on your birthday essentially is the birth chart for the entire year. It's when the sun returns to the same degree as when you were born. And so when we look at that chart on your birthday day, that basically reveals major themes, potential changes, and opportunities that are awaiting you. Whether we're looking at career shifts or moves or changes in relationships, you can get clarity on what's coming up ahead. So know the right moves to take. Know what energies you have available to work with. Don't navigate this next year blindly. Go ahead and book a solar return reading consultation down below in the link below, and you will know how to step forward in this next birthday year with clarity and confidence. So it is about, the originality of a person. It is your eccentricities. It's, your quirks, your weirdness. So usually it has kind of like this outsider type of energy because it's not part of the mainstream. So it does also rule technology and science as well, electricity. It is also about freedom, liberating the person, liberating an idea. And then it's very futuristic. I mean, it's a visionary, right? Because when you're innovating, you're bringing in a whole new future. You've been visualizing a different kind of future. And it's all about like up leveling and optimization and evolution. It's to make things better. It's not just change and chaos and upheaval, which it can cause that, absolutely, but it isn't just for chaos sake. Like it isn't just let's just break things down and leave it there in the mess. Like no, there is an intention behind it to construct and erect a whole new system, a whole new experience. It is very much so about optimization. And Uranus actually rules astrology. So I have a feeling that in this next, Uranus and Gemini period, we're going to see actually even more widespread like understanding and learning and utilization of astrology too with the Uranus and Gemini season. So that's Uranus. Now let's take a look at Gemini, and then we can start to kind of like put the pieces together and see some of the archetypes of what this next season is about. So Gemini has to do with communication, anything with learning, thinking, speaking, writing, teaching, all of those things. So the mind, the thoughts, the ideas. So as you can tell, it's already very airy in nature. It's intelligent, it's curious, it is wanting to learn as much as possible, learning new information, new ideas. It does rule language as well. And it's very adaptable, it's versatile, it's agile. It is about social interaction, it's about conversations, it's about exchanging of ideas. It is also rules local travel. So a lot of transportation even is associated with Gemini. Not so much airline transportation, but who knows? But with Uranus, it could be that. But when we talk about Gemini, it's more local, like, driving your cars. It's about buses, it's about subway stations, it's about trains. So it's not the long distance travel, but it's more like local, short distance travel. There is a restlessness about it because it is a fast moving sign. It's very playful, it's very busy. It's like having a lot on your schedule every day. It's going and doing errands. That's very Gemini in nature. And because it's the twins, I put multiplicity there. So it's like more than one thing. So there's going to be like a desire. A lot of people are going to want to try to multitask right in this season. So a lot of multitasking, doing more than one, being involved in more than one, and just kind of like going here, going there, all over the place. So when we start merging these two together, all right, we're going to see so much innovation and breakthrough and changes and disruption, like probably in communication industry. Like, for example, social media. Social media, we might see a whole new platform that comes about here. And when we're talking about change, this is rapid, fast moving, electric, lightning speed change with Uranus and Gemini together. Uranus in Taurus, it's going to be a lot slower. But here it's rapid. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised that in technology that we are going to experience during the Uranus and Gemini cycle that will probably like catapult like 30 years ahead in terms of technological advancements. And so, AI, large learning language models, that is definitely going to speed up. AI is such a classic archetype here, and the evolution of AI and the rapid growth of AI with Uranus in Gemini. Like, if we thought it was amazing now, I think by the time we're finished with Uranus and Gemini, like, honestly, our technological life is going to be unrecognizable. And here's the thing: Uranus is so unpredictable and it is so sudden. It's not something you can, schedule and plan for. And so I don't think like the internet, the population was able to schedule and plan for that. I mean, that just completely revolutionized the way that we do work, the way that we communicate, the way that we interact, the way that we buy things. Like, I mean, everything has been completely changed. So that's how significant and profound this is. I did want to go over actually just quickly, like, some of the major inventions that have happened between like the Uranus and Gemini seasons of human history. Well, it does take 84 years for Uranus to do a complete cycle. So it's not something to go through all the zodiac signs. So it's not something that happens frequently. It's something that if somebody's lucky, that they'll get to experience once in their lifetime. So another thing too, before I go into the inventions, is like Gemini is ideas, right? And like Gemini is usually good at holding opposing ideas and loves contradictions and loves like to be the devil's advocate and argue both sides and all of that. But with Uranus and Gemini, we might see a splitting of ideals, splitting of the mind, splitting of ideologies. And so this is why it is kind of a volatile season. And you'll notice that in history, especially in U.S. history, because in the United States chart, their birth chart of U.S., Uranus is in Gemini at 6 degrees. So the United States is dealing with a Uranus return, which is a really big deal. And when we look at the history of the United States, there's like a splitting of philosophy and ideology here. And this is where we see the American Revolutionary War. This is the time when United States gained its independence. This is also a time in the 1800s during the Civil War, mid 1800s during the Civil War. So clearly there was an ideological conflict between the North and the South. And so we see the Civil War with Uranus and Gemini at that time. And then another time with Uranus and Gemini in reference to the United States was during World War II. And granted, World War II began before Uranus entered into Gemini. But once Uranus entered into Gemini, United States became involved and a part of World War II. So there is a lot of correlation between Uranus and Gemini and war with the United States. And, we just recently had that situation with Iran. Now, this doesn't mean we're absolutely definitely going to have some sort of, bloody war or something. It may, I don't know. That's the thing. But what we do know is that that level of volatility and that level of, intensity is present in the air. It's in the air and it is very sensitive to the United States. Now, this could be, you can see the political party divide right now, like really extreme, so there's just a lot of ideologies that, and there's a lot of fight and disagreement and argument, and it's intensified and it's very strong. So we don't know. It could be an information war. A lot of people live in echo chambers, right, when they're online. So it could be an information war even. It could be a war in the media. We will see. I don't know, but I just wanted to, make mention of that because this is a very intense, volatile time, and I'm definitely not going to sugarcoat that. And we will see how it pans out in the next 7 years. I hope that everybody is safe and we're not going to enter into something that is so violent. I hope. But there are a lot of incredible inventions that happen because, we're talking about two genius archetypes between Uranus and Gemini, and both are very innovative and curious and playful and here to bring about change. And so some of the inventions include things like the first computer. Yeah, the general purpose electronic computer. It was built in the US, and basically that laid the groundwork for modern computing. So that's a big deal, don't you think? Computers in general. The microwave oven was invented during this time. The atomic bomb was invented during this time. Commercial jet engines really impacting commercial flight for us. The television boom happened during Uranus and Gemini. We also had a while ago the telegraph cable, which then impacted the way we communicated transatlantically. So that was a big deal. The typewriter prototypes. So, anything deal with communication and travel, you're going to see the use of railroads during the Civil War. So this gives you a little idea of just like the breakthroughs that come with communication and with traveling as well. So yes, we're going to probably even see, another idea would be electric cars, because Uranus is that elevated technology here, and Gemini is travel, like cars, buses, trains. So we might see more autonomous vehicles, like where it becomes the norm rather than something, super like new and exotic, right? Because it's more exotic right now, but that might become a normal thing is electric cars and autonomous vehicles, for example. We'll probably have a total change in the way that we communicate and interact with each other. Just like, for example, Facebook completely changed when it first came out. And even still today, it really changed the way that we interact and communicate with other people in our lives. So we don't know what it's going to look like because that's the nature of Uranus. But just know that we probably will have brand new media or brand new social media platform, kind of like YouTube, for example. There might be another platform or many platforms that all of us transition over to, and that becomes the norm eventually. So here's the thing. where is Gemini in your chart? And where is Uranus coming into your chart? Comment below if you figured this out now, what house Gemini is under, because that house, okay, that house and that area of your life specifically is going to receive a lot of this energy. It's going to be receiving a lot of Uranus. Now, granted, Uranus is talking to other parts of your chart for sure, but here it's going to be quite heavy-handed. So expect radical changes in the next up until 2033 in this sector, in this area of your chart. It's going to be electrifying. Expect things to break down and, something new come about instead. There's going to be a lot of change here, a lot of experimentation here. It's just going to be a disrupted area of your chart. So, if you've had this like plan in that area of your life, it's going to go along like this. and then Uranus comes plowing through. It might mess up the plans. It might change things up. Like, for example, if you have Uranus transiting through your fourth house, so number 4, okay, then that's actually the house of home and family. So, when we see Uranus transiting through the fourth house, we see a lot of moving, probably moving of house, not even just once, but multiple times too. So, that's how it can. But it's going to move you to a place that's better suited for you, if that makes sense. And it's going to help support you in this next evolution of you. So it's always obviously for your greater good, but in the process, it might feel a little bit destabilizing. But there's a lot of breakthrough. There's a lot of liberation here. There's a lot of truth and a lot of honesty happening here, because that is one thing Uranus does not do. It does not fake. It doesn't pretend. It's radically honest, and it radically, boldly moves forward in progress and in change. And that's what you can absolutely expect with Uranus and Gemini in that sector of your chart. Okay, so I feel like I went into that quite a bit, but let's go actually back into Monday. That's Monday, by the way. Like, this whole moment is Monday, and it's a really, really big deal. And then, not only that, like, Uranus is communicating with Saturn and Pluto. So there's this, little triangle here. This is a mini grand trine. It's also communicating with Neptune. And look, what is so amazing about this configuration? I mean, look, I don't know if humanity's ever seen this configuration before. This is very unique to us. This is a very unique time in human history, because we've had all 3 outer planets, Uranus, Neptune, and Pluto, and Saturn, because it is, more on the transpersonal side, all changing signs. That's like unheard of. Usually one changing sign is a big deal. If this has ever happened, it must have been thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago. Like, this is very, very unique. And the fact that all these outer planets are in a positive configuration where it's all these blue lines are super supportive. The fact that it's like that, this means that this evolution that we're going through, it is deep. It is transformational. To the umpteenth degree. It is bringing out what has been hidden and what needs to emerge and come out. And it's healing. It's going to be, in the end, like, I know there's a lot of negative rhetoric around the direction of humanity, but I also think there's a seed of hope here, because this transformation and change is very healing in nature, with Pluto in the positive configuration. And then Saturn at the top, that is going to stabilize and bring structure to these changes. It's not just chaos and more chaos. No, we are grounding in these new changes and really like embodying them. And then, with Neptune being a part of this, it is making sure that we are connected to the divine, that we are really being able to see and dream and vision more clearly. Like, this is not a strained conversation between the planets. They're working together in partnership. They are harmonious together. So this is a very, very lucky thing that, because I mean, it's like I said, it's very destabilizing when an outer planet moves into a new sign, especially at the beginning degrees, the 0 degree up to 1 degree. That is where it's the loudest. It's intense. And so the fact that they're supporting one another, it's helpful. Let's just say that. And I think we're lucky because it could be squares. It could be opposites. It could be a lot harder than it is. So I think it's making this transition, this really fast, like quantum leap transitions that we're all going through, making it as smooth as possible is my interpretation of this. Now, we do also have the moon that is in Sagittarius, and moon in Sagittarius is very inspired and it's very hopeful and it's very optimistic. So I think I like that. I mean, I know it is in a little opposition here, but the fact that Uranus is coming into a new sign and on that same day Moon is in Sagittarius, that is the half glass full, that has the vision of the future and is looking forward to this and is very hopeful and has a lot of faith in the goodness of this, and it's in trine with Neptune for sure, and a little slight trine with Saturn. I mean, this is really holding that vision of the future. So that vision of the future for yourself. I feel like this is a very positive, welcoming configuration of Uranus coming into Gemini, because this is like the red carpet walk, in my opinion, of Uranus and Gemini, and all the other planets are there present and cheering it on. Okay, so that's going to be, that's the big thing here. We do have also moon that is in square to Mars, and this could bring some irritation, some frustration. Look, I expect Monday to be energetically and emotionally charged. This is not a let me go in my comfy chair and nest and get cozy. Like, this is action time, and Mars is action, and it's precise and strategic, the fact that it's in Virgo. So here it's like taking bold action, and really, taking those forward steps that you want to take. So I love it. It's freedom seeking, and Sagittarius is about truth and freedom. And with Mars here, it's going to be enacting that truth. I mean, just the liberating of the self. Moon in Sagittarius is so blunt and so honest and truthful. So like, truth is just very important in this time. This whole like pretending and faking your way through life and like, being like a ghost in a shell type of existence, just the mundane, like zombie like existence, that's just out of the question. That's not gonna work. Moving forward. Like, this is all about being authentic and original and truthful and like liberating yourself, liberating your spirit, and living, heart-centered and inspired and in alignment with who you are. Like, those are the themes of this next era of humanity. Mainstream, fit the mold, like fit the pretty box situation. That model of reality is no longer. It's not working. It's not working anymore. Uranus is also, as it comes in, conjunct Venus. So it's together with Venus. So Uranus is going to shake things up in our Venus department. Okay, so Venus is our relationships. There could be a lot of spontaneity and fun and excitement within our relationships and our friendships. Like, maybe you feel this new spark and vitality with the people in your life. You're really like, we have been, since the pandemic, very like hermit-like, I would say, a large majority of humans. And so this could actually, when I think about this, because Venus is in Gemini now, and Venus is in Gemini is super social. I mean, talk about social butterfly. It loves to just connect with people and have all kinds of interesting conversations. Here, like, this could be breaking us out and now finally coming back together again. I mean, we're seeing it more, absolutely, but I feel like Uranus is going to bring another spark of inspiration and desire to now be like out in the world and, find groups and communities that are important to us. I mean, especially on this day, it's in the 11th house. Well, at this moment. So we're going to want to be with people again. We're going to want to connect and communicate with people beyond just like, just the digital way, but in a real life, in person, in real life, IRL, please, IRL. So that is our Monday as we are inviting in Uranus. So let's take a look at Tuesday. And also, we're in the Sun in Cancer season. I forgot to mention, like, Sun is still in Cancer. And Sun in Cancer is very protective. It's very nourishing. And so the way I kind of bring this all together is this new emergence that is happening with Uranus. It has a Cancer sun behind it. So there is a cultivation and a nurturing and a protecting of this new thing that wants to emerge in this season of our lives. And it's going to have that. I mean, this is how Uranus is being introduced. And Jupiter, at the same time, Jupiter's in Cancer, which is like a very lucky placement. It brings a lot of prosperity, luck, abundance, opportunities. And Jupiter in Cancer is the best. It's exalted here. It's the best position. Jupiter is like totally in its highest and best location of all the signs. And so it's like being treated like royalty, essentially. So this new breakthrough that's coming in, there's a lot of luck and abundance and opportunity that's associated with it at the same time. Very cool. Now, on Tuesday, Moon is still in Sagittarius. We do have a square to Saturn, and that square to Mars is a little bit more pronounced. So there's a bit more tension emotionally because, the Moon represents our emotions. And the way that I see this is we're going to... Oh, actually, no, it's the North Node. It's more tension with Mars. So we're here... Mars is going to cause us to be a bit more grounded and a bit more strategic in how we go about all of this change. And I love this because even with this whole Saturn Pluto situation, as disruptive as Uranus is, it's not utter, complete chaos. It is not that. We are coming at this in a way that is well thought out and well planned, and that we have some structure behind it. There is some grounded energy that is a part of this. It isn't just erratic and all over the place, destabilized and scattered, right? It isn't just that. There is, yes, an initial scattering, because that's just the nature of disruption and chaos and creation, and then an ordering that follows afterwards. We do have... maybe it could be slightly square to this stuff, but either way, it's going to be very stabilizing, and I really appreciate that on Tuesday. Now, on Wednesday, we have a change of the moon. Moon is going into Capricorn, and we're about to have a full moon, by the way. So this is the second major astrological event. So you want to stick around for the full moon that's about to happen tomorrow. And moon here is in square with Saturn. So this is the kind of reality check, and even in opposition with Jupiter. So here, Moon in Capricorn is already grounded and methodical and planning. Okay, that's just, now we've just like amplified and turned up this practicality way of going about this Uranus and Gemini moment. And so Moon is here like, let's, check all the boxes. How are we going to implement this? How is this really going to go down? Is this really possible? And doing all the evaluations and the calculations and the assessments. And then, Jupiter tends to be very like pie in the sky sometimes, and just, the vision is so grand that it's not reachable. And so Moon and Jupiter in opposition, Moon is like, hey, in Capricorn no less, right? Like, hey, let's get realistic about these things. And it talking to Saturn, which is the ruler of Capricorn, we need to get realistic. All right, let's get realistic. Let's make this happen. And I feel like with it's like the team that has their boots on the ground and making the vision of Uranus and Gemini work. We're making this vision happen. We're making it work. We're putting some feet to it. We're putting some substance and material behind it. So it's not, we're making it happen. We're making the change happen. And everyone's on board. And that's what I like about this. This is what I love about it. Okay. So if there is some confusion because Moon is in an exact square to Neptune, there's going to be a part of this whole process that we're just not sure. And we're a little bit lost and we're a little bit confused. And that's okay. But, between Saturn and this Jupiter opposition and Moon in Capricorn, there's a lot that we can work with. But I think this whole Neptune and Saturn are going to be together for a while, all right? Look, they're only a degree apart. And you've got, a planet of idealism and dreamy planet with the planet of extreme realism and practicality. And they're kind of like a little bit in conflict. They're opposing in their nature. So that level of confusion about, are we doing this okay? Is this right? Is this even, that's going to be there. It's going to be there. We're not going to be able to avoid that. But it's not so, prominent that it's hanging out on its own. It's got its checks and balances too. So allow some room and space for some confusion as we're going through this change and process. Okay. All right. So let's go to Thursday. Thursday is full moon day, bringing things into full light, into full illumination. And it is a Capricorn full moon. And so Capricorn is the grounded, realistic one. We do have a trine to over here to Mars, which is nice. I like that because this is action that is just very smooth and flowy, like you're not having any conflict in the actions that you are taking. You're probably seeing a lot more during a full moon. And the question is, where in your chart is Capricorn? What house is Capricorn? Because here, this is going to show you more about that area of your life of like, okay, I can see the strengths here. I can see the weaknesses here. And it looks like these are the areas that I'm going to need to work on and change. So things are coming into full illumination in that area of your chart. So let me know in that area of your chart what house Capricorn is and what are you understanding and seeing about that area of your life. If you don't know what the houses are, I do have a link down below, a free PDF that shows you the meanings of each of the houses so that you can start to make some deductions from there. Now, I will say, so Saturn rules this area and Saturn is, in a debilitated position. Saturn doesn't really like being in Aries and it's next to, next to Neptune. I almost said Uranus, but it's next to Neptune. So it's a bit struggling here. So if this area of your life, you've had a bit of a hard time really like setting some structures around, this would make a lot of sense just because the ruler of Capricorn, Saturn, it's struggling. It's not in the easiest of places. So if that area of your life is a little bit of a hot mess, I want you to give yourself some grace. Give yourself some grace. It's going to get easier eventually as Saturn starts to move away from Neptune. It's still struggling in Aries, but this just like amplifies it even more. So eventually Saturn will start separating from Neptune, but it does stay here in Aries for the next couple of years. So we're going to have to deal with that for a bit. But I think this Mars is very helpful though into, implementing some real like strategic actions with Mars being in Virgo. Okay, so that is our Capricorn full moon. Let's go on to Friday. Sorry, here we go. So on Friday, We have Moon still in Capricorn, but it is definitely connected to Pluto. It's only a mere degrees away from Pluto. And then later in the day, it's going to touch Pluto. So, look, when we're talking about Pluto, it is it's purgative in nature too. It's not a like feel good planet. So there is a cleansing nature about it. I feel like this will be a great time where you do some energetic cleansing work on Friday, and it'll just help to release the old structures. As Uranus has come into this new Gemini season, this will be nice to just let go and purge, detox, and release the old version of this, Gemini area of your life. So definitely like burn some sage, for example. If you use essential oils, just use your basic tea tree. Use your basic tea tree on anywhere you feel like on your body, and that will help to cleanse out what's irrelevant and what's outdated. And what's great is that with Pluto, it does like bring to the surface the stubborn hidden things. And so it's going to bring it out. And it is pretty well supported. I mean, the reason why too is that Moon is going to be in trine with Uranus here. And with it being in trine in Uranus, that's what I'm talking about. Like it's cleansing out the old to make room for the new. And then it's also talking to Saturn and Neptune in the process. So yeah, these new structures and these new visions are going to really settle in even more. So think about it as like one step of integration of your future. That's how I would look at this. So definitely be proactive in some sort of purification and cleansing here. Now on Saturday, Moon will definitely be in Aquarius. This is more visionary too. It's more the bird's eye view. It's also very logical in nature and analytical. And it is, even though it's an air sign, it's ruled by Saturn. So it has this like groundedness in its ideas. And so I feel like you're just going to get a clearer vision when Moon is in Aquarius. And not only that, it's in a nice little trine to Venus. So that will help you to really like share your ideas with people after everything that's happened throughout this week. I mean, this is not a relaxing, gentle, easy week. This is like a rebirth essentially. It's a lot. And so Saturday will help you to now start to connect things more, start to maybe express things, because in Aquarius, Moon does like to communicate with others. It does like to share ideas. So this might be a great day to start touching on, okay, what am I thinking now? What am I feeling? What am I thinking? What am I seeing now? It might be a good time to verbalize, because prior to this, it's just been such an internal experience. And then it's also in opposition with Mercury. So sometimes that can create some conflict between like what you're feeling and what you're thinking, or, might affect the way that you express and communicate. But there is still a call, though. There's still a call to communicate, because Mercury is talking to the Moon. So there's going to need to communicate, even if it's not like smooth and all, aired out and you know exactly what you're going to say. No, just get it going, get in the process. And Mercury in Leo, it's very expressive too. It's you're going to have probably a need to express and a need to share, or need to talk to somebody in your life about what you're going through currently. Okay, so that's Saturday. And then on Sunday, Moon is still in Aquarius. It is still maybe slight opposition, not too extreme. But let me see if there's any other aspects here. It does have a square to Uranus, a little bit. Yes, a little square to Uranus. So here, whenever we see squares to Uranus too, like whatever Uranus is going through, which it's in Gemini, you're probably going to get some like lightning strike insights coming in from Uranus. Look, here's the thing. It's not all going to be figured out this week. Okay, you're gonna think of it as like you're getting little downloads, you're getting little glimpses. And honestly, with this outer planet going into a new sign, this is my opinion. I feel like once it's about 10% the way through the sign is when it starts to settle in. So, there's 30 degrees in a sign. And so when Uranus is, in the like 2 degree, 3 degree, I feel like we're going to get a good idea of what Uranus and Gemini is going to be about for the rest of that season, right? Until it leaves Gemini. And so when you go into a new Airbnb, for example, you walk in the door. It's the first time you've ever stepped foot on the property. You don't know where everything is. You don't know where all the bathrooms are. You don't know where all the things in the kitchen are. You go in, you're like, oh wow, hopefully it's a wow rather than, oh geez, what did I sign up for? But hopefully it's like you go to this Airbnb, you're like, wow, this is nice. Look at the windows, look at the lighting, look at the details, the decor, like it's spacious, it's beautiful, right? And you're just like wowed. And so you don't know everything yet though. And when I go into an Airbnb, I find the bedroom, I put my luggage in the bedroom, and then I do a tour. I tour the property. I tour the inside. I see where all the like pots and pans are, where all the like cups and utensils and whatever, where everything is. So that when I come later to do some cooking, I know where to find things. I go look around on the outside. Do they have a jacuzzi? What do they have? What do they have? Even though I saw pictures, and that's what I've been giving you is like some pictures of Uranus and Gemini. We have an idea, but you don't really know until you're actually there, right? It's different looking at a picture of something like I've given you versus being in the actual place. Those are two different experiences. And so we're going to be now being in the reality of it. So think of like the very beginning degrees of when a planet enters a sign, especially these planets that have very long transits through a sign, is we're just getting to know it right now. And it has, when you walk into this property, you have more of an intense feeling, right? You're like, wow, look at this place, and that's why I'm saying it's really intense at the very initial entrance of an outer planet into a sign. And then you start to settle in. And then, let's say you're in this Airbnb for a week, like with each day you're just getting more and more comfortable. You know your way around, it's you don't have to like think about it. It's just this is where that is, and you just feel more at home there. And so that I want you to think of it that way, that don't make any major massive conclusions at the very first second that Uranus is in Gemini. We're gonna be here for a bit. We're gonna be here for like, I don't know, some months, maybe like some 8 months or so, where you're just getting to know this Uranus and Gemini situation. So getting familiar, and then you're starting to formulate things like, ooh, I like this bedroom. I want that bedroom. Oh, I like how this is. Ooh, I want to go hang out here in this part of the Airbnb. You're learning right now. So there's a lot of like experimentation that's happening, and you're gathering downloads, right? And allow yourself to, you don't have to come up with some extreme conclusion at this very second. Give yourself some room and time and space to explore what this is and what this means. Okay, all right. So thank you so much. I hope that you enjoyed this presentation, or I guess it was a presentation and a forecast, because we deep dove into this whole Uranus and Gemini. And let me know, where is Gemini in your chart? Where is this full moon happening in your chart? And please make sure to like, subscribe, and share away if you found this useful. This is an energy that we're going to be dealing with for many years now, and it's a radical, important transition that's happening, that's impacting all of us and impacting us on a global scale. And let's see what area of your life that you are radically going to change. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next forecast. Your birthday is not just another birthday. It's actually a powerful astrological moment, and it sets the tone for the entire year. Basically, when the sun returns to the exact same degree as when you were born, and you take a look at what planets are in the sky at that moment, that is the birth chart for the entire year. So this reveals major themes and potential changes and opportunities that are waiting for you. What's amazing about this is that you get a strategic roadmap on how to navigate your year and knowing what areas of your life are in major focus, what are these expected transitions, and what energies do you have to work with. I am an experienced astrologer, healer, and I work with elemental medicine, and I transfer astrological insights into very practical guidance. So decode your year ahead and go ahead and book a solar return reading. And that is in the link down below so that your path forward is illuminated.